It is season 3 of the Top Music Attorney Music Business Podcast. And I was trying to think through where we started last year. It's always great to have little, wins and new fam, and followers and all your wonderful faces that have been here. Some of you since the beginning, but, I think we've grown by like 15,000 subscribers in the last year. I think we're about to hit 30,000 on Top Music Attorney on YouTube. Hey, what's up, Instagram? We're live right now on Top Music Attorney on YouTube. So if you want to come join the conversation, let's go. But anyway, man, we're back and making some changes. You're gonna see some new and different and improved content on this channel. So our general flow is that we're going live every week per usual, which is where we do the actual podcast. And I do this live because I want to answer your questions and give you guys a way to actually, talk to an entertainment attorney for free and just to get help whenever you need. But it's also fun for me that you guys get to be on the show. You get to be a part of what we're doing. So as you're filing in the chat, let me know where you checking in from and what time is it. Hey, what's up, fam? So excited to be here. So excited to have you. Hello, everyone. Let's go. So in fun news, who's a fan of Impractical Jokers? Who is an active watcher? Or, in the case of my sister, I mentioned, she's like, oh, that old show. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they have a new season coming out pretty soon. What are you talking about? But anyway, so they came through my city, and that Orko and I went and we saw them live. It's less Joe, of course, but very, very fun show. We had a good time. Hey, checking in. All right, Connecticut, 8 p.m., 1 a.m. for Chris, because he's just a trooper and he is always in the mix, no matter what the time. San Antonio, Virginia, 8 p.m. Hey, Eric loves Impractical Jokers. Yeah, I have an Impractical Jokers shirt that Orko got for me, and I actually wear it way more than I thought because it's just one of those, like, I think it brings me joy to wear it, so I just wear it. Or I'm lazy and it's always at the top of the pile of the laundry. I don't know. But in any case, other news. I cut my hair. Now, I did this for my birthday at the very end of last year, but then I went back to Angel. He's my hairdresser, and I normally tap him for all the music video things. I'm not the kind of person that like goes to get my hair done. Usually, I went to beauty school, so I was just like, I can do it myself, But anyway, so I wanted to, have my hair cut properly. So we cut it. And then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, you know what? It's still too long because it was like about here. So we went back and he cut off like another 1.5 inches. And when we were done, he's like, what do you think? I'm like, no, we got to do it. And then he took off like another 1.5 inches. So we're actually quite a bit shorter than where I started with the short haircut. And the funniest part is that like no one seems to notice, which I'm totally fine with. But as far as like the real humans in my day-to-day life, in my law office, now it's all men. I don't know if that plays into it. They're like, you look the same. That's fine. But anyway, so I'm like, no, there's like 12 inches of hair gone. What are you talking about? Anyway, so bless the hair that is, no longer there. Hopefully you guys are loving it. What's up on Instagram? Come over to Top Music Attorney on YouTube. And then we also are working on different little transitions in the show because we do all this stuff live. And so, as far as like the intro, I can't remember the last time like I've actually run the intro because we always just get into everything. But we're also, I don't know. There's a bunch of things here. I'm going to click something. Let's watch it for a sec. Ready? Attorney is your #1 legal resource for artists, producers, and record labels. Get contract templates, one-on-one legal advice, free master classes, and everything you need for your music business. Go to topmusicattorney.com. Hey, look at that. So my team made a fancy little thing because we actually did launch a brand new website because we have all this stuff that's available for you guys. A lot of it is for free, and then there's some more bougie, high-price things. And I say high-price, but just meaning you pay for it. If you need like your contract templates, it's done for you. There's a video tutorial that comes with it and all the stuff that I've had available for you, but I'm just really not super great at promoting it. So anyway, we're like, let's actually say it every once in a while, and maybe that will help someone who needs help. But anyway, so one of the other big changes that we're making is that we have through like the courses that not courses, singular, the music business course that I have, we do student huddles. And so it's like a weekly, or was last year, a weekly meeting with all the students, and it's very much like in in the weeds. And I'm like, you know, Jane's not in our group. Jane, is a music producer, and she's talking about her record, label offer that she got, or she has a dispute with someone, or the website designer messed up. And so it's just a good time to like talk about real issues again, and just to kind of check in and help people as they're going through. But anyway, so we had this idea, and we're like, you know what? It's so helpful to people for the stuff that we discuss. So we're gonna try broadcasting it into our Facebook student group, which is on Top Music Attorney on Facebook. So if you want to go and join that, I'll be sure to link it somewhere down in the description. Otherwise, just go to Facebook and you will find us, obviously. But anyway, so if you want to kind of be a part of it, that's one way to kind of get in via backdoor. And I don't know, let's just share the love. Let's just help each other and put some good vibes out there for other musicpreneurs who need help. Yeah, new. I don't know. I don't know if it's an intro. It's a interlude. It's a connector thing, which will actually be in my sneaky way to like take a sippy. If I just need like a hot minute, I'm like, all right, guys, I just need a hot minute, so I'm gonna take a sippy and run this thing for 10 seconds. So what do we got here? AID. Hey, help me. Sue someone who stole my song. That is what I do. But typically what we're going to do is that, I say, contact me through my law office. It's Delgado Entertainment Law. But, we always need to kind of look in and see, right? What are you saying? And in fact, this is like the perfect live stream podcast for you, because we're going to be talking about and going through a lawsuit over someone stealing someone else's song. So we'll talk through how it works, and even when it does escalate to a lawsuit, what matters. And I'm going to talk specifically about copyright registrations, which you absolutely need to know about if you are thinking about suing someone. But anyway, so we'll go through all of that. I guess I should actually tell you what we're gonna be discussing in the show. You want to know, right? So besides obviously see, I made all these notes beforehand and then I closed it out. So we're just gonna open it. So I have my notes. All right, I know what we're talking about. So one of the things, this will be later in the show for those of you who actually hang tight with us, which is if you have any kind of entity in the United States, if you have an LLC, if you have a corporation, and it doesn't have to be even in the music business. If you're just watching this because you're fun and you want to hang out, that's cool. Any business entity, there's now a new federal rule in place where if you don't abide by it, you could get fined up to $10,000 and have to spend up to 2 years in jail. And it just blows my mind, because I'm like, there's going to be literally hundreds of thousands of business owners who just never even know about this. And what's going to happen is that they're going to get fined. They're going to get a notice in the mail, and it's going to be the first time they hear about this. So anyway, I'm going to be covering it totally in the show, just to make sure that if you are a business owner, you know about this thing, you file the thing, and that you can protect your money. Okay, so I got you covered there. But anyway, that's later in the show. We're going to do more of the fun stuff up first, which are news stories and artist tips. All right. So as far as news stories, we have Richard Simmons. And so there's Richard Simmons biopic with Pauly Shore. But it's this whole situation where, you have, a biopic which has not been authorized. And I'm going to talk about like my personal experience with this, doing a lot of film law stuff. Obviously the music stuff comes up as well, but all the film law, like how this works, life rights, and just where this is all likely going to go. And then within the actual copyright conversation, and you want to sue someone for your song, they stole your song, regardless of if you're dealing with this right now, if you make music at all, or if you own music, this could come up. Very likely will come up. And so we're going to talk about the Ice Spice lawsuit, which is in Hammoud. She says it's so much cooler than I do. In Hammoud. And anyway, so, allegations of stealing the song. And obviously this thing, I was watching it on YouTube, has like 50 million plays on it. It's insane. Anyway, so we're going to talk about all that. Bring in that Orko here in just a little bit. In the meantime, as we're going through all the things, please drop your questions, okay? And I'll make sure to do my best to answer them, okay? I appreciate you guys being a part of this show. It really means so much to me. And then also, and finally, we are going to discuss the 9 things. You guys are going to love this. It's the 9 things I wish I knew when I started a music career. And I actually got a little bit of like a high writing this because it's really good information, but I don't know, little me, for starting, who's going to see this later. It's really helpful information, and obviously it's applicable even if you aren't just starting and you're like day 1, you're more like day 5, year 5, sorry, year 5, year 10, whatever. I got you covered. And then one thing I did want to mention is we are releasing the videos throughout the week. So if you don't have your notifications turned on, you might be missing them. But we did an interview, and this was with some HTK. And so he has this great insight. He kind of coming from a huge background of like 25 years, having a rapping career, and then kind of turning it into now a music business with like a YouTube channel and doing reactions and reviews and all the stuff. But anyway, so he just had all kinds of gems to share, and the interview did really well. But then after that, we released the 35 ways to make money from music in 2024, and that just went up right away, which I was happy to see. Anytime I do videos kind of talking about ways to help you make money or how to not lose money, those seem to do well, and I understand why. I kind of did a little poll of the students today, and I'm like, what do you need help with right now? And there's always similar things that come up. One is going to be music marketing, and another is going to be, of course, like making money and making your career make sense. So you're not just kind of spinning your wheels. And then the other one's always like syncing, right? So how to get your music into TV and film and all that stuff. And then I was telling him, I'm like, look, because we went through it. I'm like, what'd you guys do over the break? How you doing? All this stuff. And then I was sharing, I was like, for me, over the holiday break, and why we're starting the show a little bit later in January is because I just went so ham on basically this new music business course. And it was because I just have had a couple of years now of market research, of working with you guys and just working with hundreds of students. And so I know what the main pain points are. And I was explaining to them, I'm like, what's different on this go around is that I've always been about teaching you everything you need to know and giving you the contract templates so you're legally protected, but also teaching you about music marketing, music distribution. So like, I gotcha. But I go, where we level up this go around, and we're like, even the day that I was recording the sync licensing section, there was like 7 hours that I put in just to like refining this section on that one day, just because I want it to be so good. Is you get the information, but I want you to be able to execute. I want to give you no room to say that you didn't have every opportunity, because sometimes like it's just a pain in the butt of like, hey, you need to reach out to these music libraries who can pitch your music to get it into TV and film. And so I'm like, all right, so how do I, eliminate the delay in you actually taking action to help yourself? And I was like, well, I do that by giving you the list. I do that by giving you the contact information. I do that by giving you the email that you're literally going to send. So now it's just on you to actually do the work. So anyway, there's just stuff like that I'm doing that I'm just excited for this year, because my goal is always to just bring you guys like the most insanely helpful information, which we do here on the channel for free. But then for those of you who are actually like really committed to your career and you're hustlers and you are working towards something greater than just a dream and just being like, oh yeah, every couple of months I kind of get together and get in the studio and I'm like a musician. No, like I'm talking about someone who's really trying to do this for real. So that's what I've been working on. So anyway, I'll be sure just to give you guys updates on that. If you aren't on the, the email list. If you're not on the email list, just go to topmusicattorney.com and you can sign up there. And so what I'm going to be doing is basically just kind of like giving you guys updates as everything that I've been putting together gets closer to being ready. Everything's in editing right now. I'm excited. So go to topmusicattorney.com for the newsletter. And then, if you do want to be in the program, we'll start taking, or I should say taking, applications? What do we have? Yeah, topmusicattorney.com/apply. So it's not open yet for registration. We're not doing anything, but if you are interested, you can apply there. And we'll put you on the list. There we go. All right, fam. So let's go back. Let's hit a couple questions. What do you got for me? Adam, what's up, Adam? Good to see you here. Question, do you want to do a collaboration this year? Yeah. Am I doing collaborations this year? Probably not. How would you recommend, says Riff, an LLC or an S Corp for an already established musician that's branching out in their own? So Would you recommend one versus the other? Yeah, so I say start with the LLC. And so it's usually just kind of a quick math calculation that we do. If you want to be an S corp and you want to start as that, that's fine. But usually your accountant's going to say something like, how much money are you making? And if it's anything less than like 250,000 gross per year, or I think it's 40,000 after paying your own salary net. Anyway, when you're making a lot of money, that's usually when it makes more sense to be an S corporation because you get tax benefits. But other than that, just do an LLC. It's fast, it's cheap, it's awesome. It gives you so much protection. So, as a sole proprietor, meaning you just kind of doing your own thing, becoming an LLC gives you this beautiful liability shield. So, get that done. And I have lots of videos on like why you need to do it and how it works and things about your business bank account. So just search on top music attorney. I got you covered. I've covered that quite a bit. Hey, Winston's here. Sanjay is working on landing a record contract as you create great music and create a solid fan base. Hey, all right. Well, look, and we talk a lot about becoming your own label, and that's my whole philosophy. It's two-part, right? Learn to think like a label, right? And sell like a rock star. And you learn how to sell like a rock star, which then leads to you making 6 figures a year by getting people to buy from you. And so there's this whole sales component, which is also something I've been super hyper focusing on how to teach you guys how to actually sell. It's not just like, oh, did you post today? Like some vanity selfie picture and being like, hey, go listen to my song. I love it. But like, it's pretty annoying to a lot of people. Unless you're hot. And then, if you're hot, it's just, again, vanity stuff. And they're just kind of following you and they're going to like your picture. They're not going to listen to your song. So more meaningfully harvesting people who actually care and then getting them to do something that helps you to make money. Being like, oh my gosh, I got 100 people to go listen to my song. Like, that's really good. But that's going to get you fractions of pennies for each of the streams. So it's just more of like, we're shifting our thinking to help you make real money. And then also, I mentioned this earlier, but with the 35 ways to make money video, I forgot this, but there's actually a download with that video. So it was like one of the last videos that I posted. Go check that out. And get inspired for what you're going to do to make money with your own music this year. Okay. Don't just sit passively. It's time to get into gear, my friends. Okay, well, with that being said, keep dropping your questions. I'm gonna come back to you, and I think I'm gonna bring that Orko in because I want to get into a couple of the news stories. Let's just keep it hot. Let's just keep it moving. I can see that Orko. He doesn't seem prepared. He's going like this. He's very not ready. So we're not going to pop over to him. We'll give him 2 minutes. So in the meantime, I guess let me go back to your questions. Johnny Death. I love it. I think getting out in the real world, marketing directly to the public by performing live and getting on commercial-free radio is step 1. Yeah, I mean, it's like learn the music business. Learn all the ways that you can actually get seen, get money, right? And that's a huge step that people miss, right? They're just like, they just know some stuff here and there from seeing things on social media or watching some YouTube videos, and they don't understand how everything actually works together to build a foundation to go from. But anyway, just like picking out some things to do to make money. Cool. I dig it. DJ Brightside 206, do you have a road map on what to do once you get a placement with a major artist? Well, shoot. Couple different things there. I had someone who put up a beat. So he put up a beat on YouTube. And it was one of those, like, if you want to license it, or you didn't have to pay anything, it was a free thing. And a big artist ended up using it on a song that went viral. And from that, I think, the producer ended up going and doing a deal with the artist. And so it was like a 50-50 thing. And they got huge placements. And so the producer ended up making like $50,000 from this. And then he had a bunch of other producers starting to contact him. So when I was speaking with him, I'm like looking at his social media, and it was just terrible. It was just terrible. Like, he's not posting, or what he is posting doesn't represent that, he's really a music producer or just something to make me feel like he's, really taking this seriously. And so that was the first thing that I go. I'm like, dude, if you get a placement with a major artist, like, hopefully your business card, which is your social media, represents the kind of work that you're trying to pull in, the professionalism, having some other stuff that you've made posted. if that isn't where you're at right now, if this isn't what you're doing, that's cool, but please go fix it. Like now. Okay, not now. Stay on the live stream. Right after the live stream. But, go and just be like, all right, so if I was someone who didn't know me and I clicked on my Instagram, what does my freaking, bio text right there say? Does it say music producer, genres? Does it say how to contact? Does it have a little pointy? Does it have a bio link with like your other socials? Do they cross promote between different things? Like, have you missed all of these little basic things to capture audience and interest when people actually come and look at your profile? So if you need to fix that, go fix it. Okay. Okay, anyway, so let's go to over here. That Orko, I'm gonna bring you in. Hey.
Hey, shout out to the community. Like, happy 2024, right? 2024.
I know, I'm still saying it. I guess we get to say it all the way through January.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it's the first show back, so it's our first time for them hearing it. But if you haven't already, smash that like button. Let's get that algorithm working in our favor. Feel free to share this out to your Facebook groups, to your Facebook pages. The stuff is really good. She mentioned it before, but that 35 ways to make money with your music is an incredible PDF download to use. And we went really in depth in the video. I put the link back in the chat a little bit earlier, so make sure you check that. I might even put it in the comments below, but that is crucial. You can literally start making money right today when you're done watching the video. You can already start earning with some of the techniques that we give you that are proven. So very exciting. I'm very excited for the show. How are you doing, Miss Krystle? Looking fabulous with your short hair.
Hey,
Keeps getting shorter.
Much. It keeps getting shorter. Who knows where we're gonna end up, fam? Well, I say we jump into this, guys. So we got some newsy things happening, and I want to start with Richard Simmons. Do we need to like put a picture on the screen? Let's show the people. Let's show the youngins who are like, who are you talking about? You guys know who I'm talking about.
Love Richard Simmons.
Love me some Richard Simmons. Here, where's my screen? All right, for reference. Yeah, here we go.
Hey, first show back.
For reference, he's the workout guy. That's not an accurate description. That's just how a lot of people would contextualize him.
He is a good spirit, a very, very kind individual who's dedicated his life to fitness and weight loss and making people feel good about themselves. And just my entire life, I've always kind of seen Richard Simmons as just a super energetic, loving kind of guy that genuinely cares, just like a genuine person that just was himself. I'm speaking like he's dead. He's not dead, but that's what I think of when I think of Richard Simmons. Just super charismatic guy.
All right, and then on the official lead-in, so fitness, weight loss guru, television personality, Richard Simmons. So he does want to make it clear, and he doesn't post very often. I think he came out to do this, like, this is the second post in 10 years or something. So he came out specifically to say that there's this biopic, right? So like autobiography kind of thing, but fictionalized-ish. And it did not include him. And he's like, whoa, and this is starring Pauly Shore. And I'll show you guys his official statement, but it's officially in development, and he's otherwise been pretty much out of the spotlight. I think he was having some knee problems, and he was told to stay off his feet, so he's probably just like hanging out, doing his thing. But he did come out of the abyss for this. So Pauly Shore, I guess he did seek Richard's blessing in order to do this project.
Yeah.
And Richard's position, I guess, remained unchanged. So they're just moving forward without him. And we'll talk about the legalities of all of that, right? But anyway, so Richard's representative suggested that there will be a time when Richard wants to tell his own story, because most people will want to share their story in their own way at their own time. But, I guess Pauly Shore and his team are just kind of moving forward with it. So that's a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say that it's pretty crazy. Just this speculation of Richard Simmons to come out. They got to him because and he obviously doesn't want any part of this. Like you said, he has been out of the spotlight for a number of years now. And there was even speculation that his housekeeper was keeping him hostage and abusing him. They had to actually have detectives go over there and do welfare checks on him, and then they determined like he was fine, like he had like a beard and he was like fine and stuff. He just is kind of done with the spotlight, and he just kind of still wants to just
Is
do his
that
own
is that
thing.
the is that the mark of a tortured man, the beard?
Well, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of speculation. He's known to have these like knee problems, which kind of took him out. Even the detective said when he reached out to him a while ago, he was limping, and he might not look like the same Richard Simmons. That's what speculation is, and he just kind of wants to just kind of fade out and just do his thing. Um, I would imagine when you get knee problems, it's hard to exercise. So maybe he got weight, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but that's all speculation. But Pauly Shore, this is the second time that he's trying to do a Richard Simmons project. He's been very vocal about, but wanting to do it with respect. And I actually think it would be an incredible movie to do. I think he's a really good choice. And he just did a short film called The Court Gesture on Richard Simmons, which is premiering this week at Sundance. So, this is going to be his second, I guess more full length feature that he's doing with it. But I think it could be really cool. But how do you feel? You're going to get into the legalities of it, but I would, I think they should do everything they can to figure out how they can get his blessing. Because I don't know about you, but whenever I see anything that's like an unauthorized documentary, I'm going to be reluctant to watch it, or if I do, I'm definitely taking it with a grain of salt. But then at the same point, if he is signed on to it, or if it's done by the family that does it, they're not going to necessarily tell the whole story either. So I don't know which one's good, but I think it's a good casting.
Yeah, so generally when we are working with filmmakers, we strongly recommend getting life rights permission. So you go to the person, you go, hey, I'm looking to tell your story and I want your involvement to this degree, or otherwise the life rights agreement just says you have no say in how I interpreted your stories and you're not going to sue us for defamation or false light or slander if we tweak your
Right.
story a little bit, right, to make it more theatrical. So that's typically how we negotiate and actually put the language itself in these contracts. But we do it because we want to avoid a big lawsuit. And here's the thing: you are allowed to tell your story for someone who's actually been through something or experienced. So if I knew Marilyn Monroe and I wanted to tell about
Right.
my experiences with her,
Right.
she couldn't stop me, right? But it's always just, well, from a publicity standpoint, what can that person do to you in reaction to it, right? So we don't want to like set you up for failure of that you're just going to get sued. So for them to still move forward with this, it's a risky move. If I was representing, Pauly Shore, I would just say, all right, you contacted Richard. He said no, or otherwise, let's say just didn't even respond. But in this case, it sounds like he actually said no. And he wasn't ready for this. And so if you move forward, just understand that he may have claims against you depending on how you represent him. There might be, again, defamation claims if you just put him in a bad light, if stuff's untrue, of
Mm.
course. But it's just, do you want to put yourself in that position? So for them to actually make the decision to just move forward with this, I thought was interesting. And then obviously, he's doing multiple projects.
For sure. He's all in with Richard Simmons, Pauly Shore is. And his mom owns, like, was it the comedy store in California and stuff, and Richard Simmons and his mom were like kind of close and friends and stuff. So there was a lot of where he thought he maybe had an in, like, through that way. Uh but it's not just Pauly Shore. It's Pauly Shore and the Walper organization, which is Warner Brothers subsidiary. So it's also Warner Brothers trying to get it done. I would like to see. I think it's just going to be tough because whenever you see anything that's just, again, just not authorized or not whatever, it's just I think it has a lesser chance. And then I don't know if this is just going to be end up being like a Lifetime movie or if this is going to go to like theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, with that being said, so two things. One, let's look at what Richard actually posted. So he goes, hi, everybody. You may have, I love that exclamation point. So sweet. You may have heard they may be doing a movie about me with Pauly Shore. I've never given my permission for this movie. So don't believe everything you read. I no longer have a manager and I no longer have a publicist. I just try to live a quiet life and be peaceful. Thank you for all your love and support. In kind of the making the decision on whether to move forward and potentially face a lawsuit. Sometimes people look at, this and they be, all right, well, Richard's trying to find peace
Right.
and be calm and all this stuff, so he's probably not going to sue me. He doesn't want that big headache of a lawsuit for multiple years. I don't know if that goes into it, but
And I don't know
have
if
the
they're going to
conversation.
be, if people, in 2024, people are quick to jump to their favorite celebrity's aid when they feel like they're being bullied. So, Richard being such a sweet guy, if he becomes more vocal about this, or just Pauly Shore keeps moving forward, he also runs the risk of getting backlash for, some kind of bullying of Richard Simmons, a guy that's already kind of like a recluse now. I've never known Richard Simmons to do anything but just put out good vibes into the world and just try, you know what I mean, and just being a positive thing. So I don't know, but I think it would be a really great story to tell.
Yeah, well, and last but not least, when we actually watch the official trailer, this is the court gesture.
The short film.
All right, and it's about 49 seconds. So let's take a
So
look
this is
at
a thing
it.
that's premiering at Sundance this week. This is not the upcoming film, but this just
Right.
shows you Pauly Shore as Richard Simmons.
What's my first rule? Like yourself. Your weight doesn't matter. If you like yourself, you're gonna be fine. But I've been where you are right now. And where I'm right now is I just love myself. Every part of myself. And I think I can show you how to get here.
Please welcome Richard.
It's funny. I'm pretty sure I had that on. Let me see. I had it on I had it on 1.5 speed. All right. So I mean, you got the point. You got the point in less than 49 seconds. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to see there anyway.
Well, I mean, it showed him. It was a flash because it just showed a new play.
Whatever. This is out,
We'll
guys.
we'll put a picture up, or we'll cut to it in post.
Or we just go with it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to just get through stuff. That's how I watch like all my YouTube videos. I'm like, get to the point, 2.0, XO, whatever. All right. So in case, who knows? Maybe Richard is gonna retaliate and sue. And what he would do if I was representing him, we would consider filing an injunction, right? So we ask the court, we go, this was not authorized. And if we had a good faith basis to stop it and just to be like, here are all the reasons why. So court, don't allow this to be premiered, don't allow any further production on this, so you could see court involvement early on, and otherwise just sue at any point. So we'll see. It was not terrible.
Terrible.
No, they got the point. In fact, maybe I just started something. That was the start of how we watch everything on this show now. Collectively as a team, we just need to get through it. We have things to do. Okay. Anyways, you guys. I loved it. Thank you. There we go. See?
Yeah.
All right. So the next one actually includes a lawsuit. And for those of you who have hung tight.
Hold on.
I'm not official. I'm not official on the start. I'm warming up the people.
Oh, I'm just saying, make sure that you get your settings right for this video on the new page so we don't run into that with the next story.
Oh, well, let's talk about that for a second. To be honest, I wasn't going to run the video because Universal is going to shut our live stream down. So I figured we would just do it on afterwards for the comparison as I'm talking about it, and then for the separate video.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, guys, so for those of you who are interested in, potentially learning about suing for copyright infringement, so someone steals your song, someone potentially samples your music, takes your beats, steals your ideas, how does it work, what's going on, we're going to cover that, and we'll actually contextualize it in a real lawsuit. And in fact, I have the actual complaint, which we're going to go through, but let me properly bring this in. One sec. So Ice Spice, she of course is a rising star, so she's just kind of went wild on social media since 2022, and she had a song video, Munch Feeling You, that went just super viral. And since then, we now have In Ha Mood, and I just so can't say that as cool as she does, but uh she's now been sued, and not just her, but a couple of parties on her side, including, of course, Capitol, the label that she signed with, Universal, which is, Capitol is a subsidiary of Universal. And so, as a music attorney, I do lawsuits, I do copyright things all the time. And so, I wanted to walk you through how this works, what's going on specific to this lawsuit, but also how to kind of keep this stuff in mind if you happen to be in this kind of situation in the future. So, according to the lawsuit, which we got this information from TMZ, so D Chambers is, and in fact, let me clarify. So it's Brooklyn artist D Chambers, right? And he's claiming that Ice Spice just stole his work and that he had actually released his song about a year prior. And so he's going, there's like proximity issues, there's access issues, which all come up with copyright cases. And so, basically we have to be like, well, if you're saying that she stole your song, you have to prove that like you released your music. There was a chance that she may have heard it or her producer heard it, more than likely. So anyway, according to the lawsuit, D Chambers, so the artist, insists that he recorded his song in that mood. So we have artist in that mood, and then we have Ice Spice in her mood.
Right. And
so
he
recorded a little similarity there.
And he said, like you said, he dropped it a year, but it wasn't a year before she dropped hers. A year before her first song, her first hit happened. That's how old it was.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so so D Chambers, he, I guess he did do some collaborations with Wu-Tang Clan's Method Man, and he's alleging that Ice Spice's producer likely caught wind of his tune on the airwaves, and then
his dad is DJ. His dad is DJ Enough, who is on Hot 97. He's like a huge DJ on Hot 97, and he's been played. He had a significant airplay as well of the song.
So the lawsuit, which we're going to go through, okay, so for you lawyer nerds out there like me, you'll like this, and it's actually a pretty interesting complaint. But the lawsuit accuses Ice Spice's In Her Mood of shamelessly copying everything from like the the beats, the lyrics, the hook, the rhythm, right? Even like the BPM they talk about, narrative context, and all from D Chambers' original track. And so to prove his claim, he's also citing numerous performances, which were near Ice Spice. So then we have like a proximity thing, and close to her producer Riot, where they live and make music and do all the things. So when we're kind of talking about the access issues, we go back to, well, In Her Mood is now at, what is it, 168 million Spotify streams, 45 million YouTube videos views, and so her song definitely has been seen by many. His are a lot fewer, but again, I don't want to knock anyone or make judgments on anyone. So let's take it from both perspectives, because we don't know what happened here, and this does happen. As an entertainment attorney, I'm telling you, someone will hear a great idea from a small artist, a small no-name artist, and they will steal it because they're like, who's ever going to hear your song? And it actually was a really smart hook. It actually was a really good hook. We've even been in sessions with producers who are just like blatantly citing. Yeah. This, let's do that.
I won't obviously, I won't name any names, but like some high profile producers that were literally like, oh, what's that Lionel Richie song? How's it go? What if we just did? And it's like, it's just like straight up just go. It was crazy. It was crazy just to see how just blatant it is. But I guess when you're at that kind of a level, you figure, or they're figuring, well, if there's anything that's the label's problem to take care of, or that's whatever, I'm just being creative or not.
Yeah. So that's why I just say you never know, if someone's maybe like an ambulance chaser. So just meaning they're like, we have similar names in our titles, because we've covered cases like that before where someone's like, oh, Mariah Carey had a Christmas song and it was generally about Christmas. And they're like, I had a Christmas song and it was generally about Christmas. And you're like, what, dude? What? Yeah. But in this case, let's go through it. So let me show you. This is the complaint.
Uh-oh.
All right, there we go. And let me know if you want me to reshare this, actually, just because I don't want the volume issue, if that's happening on your side.
Yeah, I just muted myself, but if you reshared it just don't do it with audio, because it doesn't need audio.
Okay.
And then let's do a check before you actually start going over it.
Okay, go ahead.
Check. Oh, great.
All right, perfect. I got this pretty big on my screen, but let me just make it bigger. I really want you guys to be able to see this because you can learn so much. There we go. All right, so at the top of any complaint, it says what court it's in. So this is the United States District Court, which means it's in federal court, Eastern District of New York. So we're in federal court in New York, and then the plaintiffs are defined up here. So we have the artist D. Chambers, and then and Ken Lee Carment, aka Cass the producer. So collectively, plaintiffs, and then suing defendants. And so we have a couple people named here. We have Ice Spice. And then was it Isis Naya?
Yeah.
Gaston. We have the producer Riot. We have Capitol Records. We have Capitol Music Group, which is a DBA. We have 10,000 Projects LLC. And then, of course, UMG Records, or Recordings, I should say, which is Universal. So, in this kind of introductory language, so it goes plaintiff, and then it just renames everyone. So all the, all plaintiffs cite here are suing all these defendants. So the preliminary statement, this is the general synopsis of what's going on. And I actually thought this was pretty concise. So they go, Ice Spice is an upcoming American rap artist, popularity has grown over the last 20 months. She first gained widespread recognition after her song Munch Feeling You, produced by Riot, released in August of 2022, and it went viral. So I was trying to download this to prevent the ads, but we're just going to cruise through. Then Ice Spice has become world famous, and so she's done collabs with like insane names. That's all they say in their words. So on Princess Diana with Nicki Minaj, Karma with Taylor Swift, Barbie World. I mean, like those are huge collaborations. Like wow. So the first song published by Ice Spice in 2023 was In Her Mood, produced by Riot and officially released on January 6, 2023. In Her Mood peaked at number 58 on Billboard's US Top 100 chart. It also reached number 192 on Billboard's global chart. So what they're doing here, guys, is that they're laying out the impact of this song, because at the end of the day, and we're gonna get to this. When you have someone who has stolen your song, then we go to copyright infringement, then we go to damages. And if you have a song that actually did make a lot of money, that's really good for you as the claimant potentially, because there's two types of damages that you can get. And they actually seek both in this complaint, which I'll explain to you why it matters, because this goes back to when you register your copyright here in the United States. Oh my gosh, does it make a difference? So if you're sitting on your songs that have come out and you didn't register your music, yikes. And I'm going to explain why you need to go and do this like right away. But anyway, they're building the case right now for like the popularity of the song, of which, they're basically just saying we need to be paid from them, the earnings. All right. So anyway, it did really well on the Billboard charts. And by all accounts, In Her Mood has been a commercial success, becoming certified as a gold record, which is 500,000 certified units sales by the Recording Industry Association of America, or RIAA, within 4 months of its release. The official music video is popping on YouTube. My words, not theirs. 45 million views and some change. It's just doing real good. However, by every method, In Her Mood is a forgery, copied from plaintiffs who wrote, performed, recorded, and produced their original song In That Mood, also referred to herein as the work. Okay, so guys, when you read letters and documents and things from attorneys, and in this case a complaint, what we do is we define words so that every time afterwards, when we refer to that thing, we just say the defined word. So in this case, it's work. And so we don't have to keep saying
the whole thing all the time.
Yeah, in her mood, or in this case, in that mood. Okay. And then it looks like he does anyway, which is pretty. So he's like,
very thorough.
He defeated the whole point. Anyway.
Very thorough.
So these are all the, things that they are comparing. And so for those of you watching live, we'll say it, but then in the edit afterwards, we're going to actually put in the music so you can hear the different parts of what this is. So by comparison, In Her Mood which was copied, they allege, principally from In That Mood. Here's some of the things. They think the hip hop rap genre and drill style was copied. There were similar titles and hooks and chorus lyrics. P.S. You can't copyright titles. We'll talk about that. But obviously,
But it's just adding to they're just adding to the weight
sure.
of everything.
There's fragmented literal similarities given the importance of the phrases, title, frequency, and repeated use. There's the words in that mood, repeated 25 times in the work, versus in her mood, repeated 22 times in her mood. Now, look, here's one thing. And for those of you who are more familiar with the song, and maybe like, the artist has done like interviews or something, for in her mood, when I heard the song the first time, I thought she was saying in her mood.
Well, she is.
So for me, one of my arguments would be in that mood and in her mood are so different. Now, if they're arguing in her mood is meant to say in the mood versus in that mood, I'd be like, all right, cool, I see what you're saying. But if you're saying in her mood, I would just argue that's actually substantially different. So anyway, that's one thing as a a white woman without any flavor or style in my interpretation. All right, moving on. So also alleging similar placements of hooks and choruses and words, same entry of the chorus and hook. So, they just do repeat over and over and over. So that is a similarity. One is going in that mood, in that mood, in that mood. And then her version is going in her mood, in her mood, in her mood, 3 times in the first segment of the hook and chorus. So same use of the word mood. Also the BPMs are very similar. One is for 142, the other is for 141. Okay, yes. And then also similar use of 16th, 8th, and quarter notes, including significant identical 4-note rhythmic patterns, and terminating mood multiple times throughout each song. So just generally, look, here's the struggle on either side of this regarding of who did the thing. Maybe no one did the thing, maybe they definitely did the thing.
Right.
When you're talking about stuff like general words, they had the word mood in their chorus, and they said it 3 times in a row. It just gets it can be very challenging to essentially prove to a jury. That's what we're tracking towards. If we don't settle this case early on because someone bleeds out of attorney's fees, they're like, I can't handle it, so they just settle. If we do actually get to a jury trial, then we have to talk to a bunch of strangers and explain to them all this and be like, look, so here we go. We hear the words over and over and over. They're kind of similar in rhythm and they're similar titles. And then I come up there and I'm like, yeah, so there's like a million songs with the word love in them. And similar 3 words of I'm in love or my heart hurts. So it can be challenging to show that there was, an intention to copyright, where it gets easier, where we're like, hey, this beat was sent to Riot, right? So her producer, Riot, was all listening to it and he got an email. And then later on, whoopsie, we're seeing that this, or like in, what is it? Pharrell.
Or not happy. The blurred lines case with Robin Thicke.
Yeah. So then you have like interviews where Robin Thicke is like all talking about, we wanted the Marvin Gaye influence with our music, and then
the Marvin Gaye feel.
Yeah, so
feeling.
It all comes in.
I think it's kind of for me when I heard the songs, it's kind of tough because while I think that in a lot of cases that we covered, this is one that is these songs are very similar to me, as compared to some of the other ones that we listened to. They're very similar in the style, in the whatever. The problem is with that genre, everybody is doing those choruses. Everybody is just taking 3 words and kind of repeating them over and over like 50 times. All the trap bass lines are kind of the same. They all have those hi-hats. They all kind of have that same like kind of I'm under my but you want to like they all kind of are doing the same kind of vocal rhythms. And so it's I think that to me they absolutely sound the same, but then they also sound like a lot of other songs that I'm hearing right now. So but I do think that these kind of sound similar, and given who D Chambers' dad is, and how much play that the song was getting pushed in areas where taste was being made, I think it's very likely that they could have heard it at the very least, been like, oh, I like that in that mood. Hey yo, let's do it in her mood, and then didn't really. Actually, I think it's very possible. It actually sounds like it could be very possible in this one.
All right, so for those reasons and others, this is an unlawful exploitation of In That Mood. And they have, with actual knowledge, and guys, this is the key language for our damages, which we're going to talk about, with actual knowledge and fraudulent intent, infringed upon and continue to infringe upon plaintiff's common law and statutory copyright for the work. Oh, there we go. He did it for the first time. you define it. So work causing serious and significant injury to plaintiffs. So then in our complaints, we define the parties. And so, basically it goes D. Chambers, the artist. He is currently residing in New York. And so it goes and it provides where each of the parties are. So it tells the court if it has jurisdiction over the parties. So we'll just kind of go through this. And then we also go, we're bringing this under common law, but we're also saying that we registered the copyrights, which is required. You have to have your copyright registrations with the U.S. Copyright Office in order to sue. So we just want to make sure, we go based on all of this, the court has jurisdiction. Okay. All right. So then jurisdiction venue. So we go, this is a federal question. This is a copyright infringement a claim. And then also this is called supplemental jurisdiction, which means that the state law claims that are mentioned in this complaint are covered and can be addressed by the federal courts because of supplemental jurisdiction. Venue is proper because of where the parties reside. So therefore, court, you're good to go. All right, so now, factual background. Here's what happened. All right, so D. Chambers.
I wonder if they're going to talk about how D. Chambers is just probably just getting it from everyone that he knows because that song is so huge. They're like, bro, she took your song, bro. Yeah,
right.
Like, imagine the first time he heard that. Like, you know what I mean? For just whatever. Yeah. He's like, oh my God. Like, just, oh my God. I don't know. When you're going through, we're just talking about, with jurisdiction, when they kind of released it, when they were, doing things, just made me think of his city and just people just around him. And it's like, wow. Or
one
just
of my,
even his dad, y'all got one.
One of the cases that I have right now through my law firm, it's a copyright infringement case and it's over a different type of content. It's not music. But, when you have someone who puts something out and they did have a lot of access to your stuff and you even personally knew them and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets tough. But then also when everyone's telling you oh my gosh, they definitely did this, go sue them.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so factual background. D. Chambers, Brooklyn native, been doing music for a long time. Cass wrote, performed, recorded In That Mood prior to August 8th, 2021. When he first used the song in an Instagram post. The work was then temporarily released as a single on all major digital platforms for a 2-week period. And that was from January 28th, 2022 until February 11th, 2022. And this was connection with a licensing opportunity that never actually ran. So then after that, in July of 2022, the work had released and became... Thereafter, in July, strike that. Thereafter, on July 7th, 2022, the work was released and became permanently accessible to defendants and the public on YouTube. Okay, so this is where we care. When did the public have access to this? So it went on YouTube for a little bit. Since then, D. Chambers, the artist, and others have repeatedly marketed, made available, or otherwise used In That Mood in whole or in part on social media, online, and elsewhere. So now we're getting into public performances. So between August of 21 and December of 22, for 16 months prior to the publication of In Hamood, the artist D. Chambers publicly performed his song no less than 36 times. Well, good for him. He's doing shows. Mostly at venues within the 5 boroughs of New York City, where Ice Spice, Riot, and others closely associated primarily reside. So, that's interesting. He's saying, not only was the music obviously just published, it was online, but he's like, I was literally performing the song in places where they went and close to where they lived. All right, so then the public performance of In That Mood prior to January 23 included all of these performances. All right, so a long list.
Yeah, I mean, he was out. They were out.
Yeah, so upon information belief, Ice Spice, Riot, and other members of their creative teams were present for certain public performances of In That Mood during the relevant time period. Okay, so, more online. This is the
stuff,
hot. Yeah, so Hot 97. All right, and all of this does go. I mean, sometimes we have claimants who are just like, it was published online and they saw it and heard it, and they can't actually point to anything. So I think that this definitely bolsters his claim
The
that he
radio
can.
the radio play is huge. Like that is a taste making station for hip hop. That is huge. That's where they, people are listening to see what's next and what's hot. So
Yeah. All right, so without limitation, there was an Instagram video posted by Riot, the producer. On December 31, 2021, it appears that Riot was listening to an Ice Spice song on Hot 97 on December 15, 2021. And then they give the actual link, and a separate Instagram video posted by D Chambers on November 15th, 2021 demonstrates that In That Mood was played on Hot 97 on the same date starting at 11:30, making it a virtual certainty that Riot actually heard In That Mood more than a year before In Her Mood was first created and published. Very interesting.
subconsciously got in there.
I mean, you can't prove that he was in the car listening to the station, but I hear you.
Well, if he was
Right.
in the, is that what it said, or did it say he was in the he was already there for something else?
Well, no, didn't he say? So he posted that what this was, so that In the Mood was played on the same date,
okay.
starting at
No, it
making
said
it.
he was listening to them on Hot 97 around the same time. Like when he was posting, he went back and got the receipts of what he was doing, and he found that he was listening to it in his car around the same time that his song was played. He was listening to a different Ice Spice song the same time that his song was played.
All right. All right. So defendant's access by virtue of the Instagram post described above, establishing that Riot was listening to Hot 97 on November 15, 2021, less than 2 minutes before In That Mood aired on the same station, appears more likely than not that Riot actually heard and knew about In That Mood prior to the creation and publication of In Her Mood. By virtue of the publication, live performances and radio airplay of In That Mood, as described above, the work was also widely disseminated long before the creation and publication of In Her Mood. By virtue of the publication, live performances, and radio airplay of In That Mood, as described above, defendants had access to the work prior to the creation of In Her Mood. Furthermore, plaintiffs are well known in the rap and hip hop community. So this kind of goes to your point, and share a substantial number of undeniable connections, and so going to the influence kind of thing. For example, without limitation, Riot follows DJ Drewski on Instagram, and as evidenced by the Instagram videos described, he has listened
to his radio show on during the time. So that's his timeline that he was just trying to say. The 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we think? What do we think, chat? Are we convinced at this point? Based on all the facts and circumstances described, is it probable? Is it reasonable that the defendants actually heard In That Mood?
I think it's absolutely possible. I think that it probably did happen. Now, whether or not he was like, oh, let me run that back so I can steal it and whatever. No. Did I think maybe he might have gotten inspired by something and maybe forgot where the inspiration kind of came from? Possible. But I think that, given his connections to the hip hop community, especially through his dad, I think that and all the radio play, I think it's absolutely possible and probable that that guy heard his song in a very different way than some of the other cases that we had where, oh, I've been online for, whatever. This is got play.
It's funny. You guys are listening way too carefully. That, in fact, was a Ripley.
That was Ripley.
That was a Ripley objection. She objects to everything that's happening because she's not involved with it. Okay, so then let me just wrap this up.
She stands with Ice Spice.
So as far as the claims, so for copyright infringement, so under common law, the beautiful thing about U.S. copyright law is that as soon as you make your creative thing, right, you put your creative idea into a tangible medium, such as a song, you have copyright already. Okay, so the Copyright Act gives you that protection. But what happens is that if you don't actually get the copyright registration with the government, all you have is common law. And so when we get to the point where we're actually suing someone, okay, it makes the world of difference because it depends on whether that infringement made any money. If it
Right.
didn't make any money, that means your actual damages of like what you can go and collect and disgorgement, right? To get
Lawyer fees.
disgorgement. Well, just get into that. So it might be like $10,000, let's say, of what they actually made stealing your idea and selling their song. Now, in this case, we know that the song made a lot of money, which is great potentially for the artist. But if you file your copyright by the time you've actually released the song, then you're likely within the proper timing to seek what are called statutory damages, which means you can get your attorney's fees, which means you can get up to $150,000 for willful infringement per infringement. So this is how we get into like the millions of dollars, which PS in one of my copyright infringement lawsuits right now, we are seeking millions of dollars because of how many times the copyright was infringed. So anyway, that's why you see it this way. And so you see like, here's the claim for common law copyright infringement. Okay, so there was access, they infringed, they did all the things. And then the next one will be, so under 17 USC, section 101 and on, this is the copyright infringement under, statutory copyright. And so we asked for statutory damages.
Yeah.
Now, from what I was reading, he didn't actually get his copyright registration until he was ready to actually file this.
Oh.
So he's probably only going to get actual damages if he is successful. But like I was saying, it's not like this song has not made money.
But he's got for sure. And the crazy thing is that, just the receipts that the internet holds, that people just have access when they're going, like, I feel like they put together, quite the case, for some kind of, satisfaction that they will receive. But it's crazy. And I mean, she's a big thing. She has 4 Grammy nominations that I think the Grammys are coming up. She just got announced, she's going to be doing headlining Coachella or doing, or being one of the co-headliners for Coachella. So, I mean, like there's money there for sure.
Yeah. Well, let me wrap this up for you guys. If you've been hanging on, you're learning so much and you're a rock star. So the third cause of action, this is vicarious liability. So for copyright infringement, this is why the record label was sued as well. So they go the reproduction, distribution, and creation of derivative works from In That Mood, which is what they're alleging is In Hamood. In Hamood is a derivative work. So they're going, because you as the label, you distributed this thing without our authorization, we're also suing you, which you can do under the law. Okay, so this is the one related specifically to the label, and it goes, accordingly, defendants are liable to plaintiffs for vicarious copyright infringement in the amount to be determined at trial, but in no event less than $1 million.
Million.
All right, and then so we're asking for declaratory judgment. We want the court to please.
What had happened
was all the advertisements said, look at me. All right.
Let me see.
No, I got it.
You got it?
I'm technologically,
because I have an actual downloaded version of it as well.
Did you send that to me?
I don't think I did, but I could because
you sent that to me and I overlooked it.
No, I did not send it to you.
I just want to tell you guys what the state law claim is. Sorry. Hold please.
Here, you want to pull it up? Let's see.
Sorry guys, we're at the tail end of the story and then the power goes out.
What page do you need?
I was on page 21-ish. So just scroll to the end of it. Just bring it up on your side.
All right.
Let's see who gets to it first. I think I got it. Boom. All right, I'm back.
You got it? Okay.
All right, so we had the copyright infringement, scrolling. I don't know what I clicked. Vicarious liability of the record label, declaratory action. Dear court, we want you to declare that plaintiffs are entitled, right? So the artist is entitled to no less than 50% of everything that has been earned from In Hamood. And then we're asking for accounting. So the fifth cause of action is a demand for accounting. We want to know all the numbers so we can come up with a proper amount for our damages. And lastly, Under the state law claim, we're seeking unjust enrichment. So basically saying, based on the facts herein, defendants have been unjustly enriched at the expense of plaintiffs. So this is the catch-all that we do in complaints. And we go, for anything that we aren't successful on, dear court, defendants didn't get a license, didn't get permission, they were unjustly enriched, they made a lot of money from us. And so if we don't get all the monies from our copyright claim, we want it just by the law, right? And the claim of unjust enrichment. Yeah. All right, team. Nice work. You hopefully just learned a lot about, and for those of you who are asking about suing for your song, that's kind of what that is what a copyright infringement lawsuit looks like.
So what do you think, as far as the label's responsibility in all of this? She's obviously on a major label. She's obviously, though they have legal departments. But it seems like we see a lot of these cases of things that, like, I wonder if when they're dealing with, what do they just ask them? Hey, so did you guys sample anything? Hey, did you guys get inspired by anything? And then they just leave it at that? Or do they have like independent fact checkers at the label that will go and just whatever? Or they make them getting a lie detector test, the producer and the artist, and they hook them up to a lie detector and go, did you guys steal anything? So we know, so we're not getting sued. Because it just seems like they're submitting stuff. A lot of these artists, not necessarily just this case, but I'm just saying a lot of these cases that we cover, they're slipping through the cracks. And some of these things are pretty obvious that they're,
yeah. So for a lot of these deals, at least from the record label standpoint, what they do is in the agreement with the artist, they go, you are promising that any music you give to us is free of samples or any claims by anyone. And so if we do get a claim against you, we're going to withhold all the money that we get from you to pay for those legal fees. So that's the first thing that they do. Now, if you're an artist that's not making a lot of money, that doesn't really protect the label so much, but that's one thing that they build into the contract, which sometimes, I get annoyed about, because I'm like, as the artist, just because you get a claim, it doesn't mean it has to be a lawsuit. Maybe someone sends you an email, and they're like, I think that this person, and now you're withholding all of that artist's money. So anyway, that's how they typically do it.
Is there something in there? So if for like that, they can go, well, you can be charged for this later. Like, is there just something that they put them on the hook if it's found? Because, sometimes maybe they really didn't know, you know what I mean? Like, they just like, dude, I'm not, and again, even in my case with this, I'm not saying that dude willfully did it. I'm saying he heard something, he might have, done a little thing and didn't realize it, but I'm just,
personal liability in a contract with a record label would be extremely uncommon. And so it's more like record label better just have insurance to pay for this. So look, guys, regardless of where you stand, I want to know your thoughts. Drop a comment down below and let us know, from everything we went through, whose side are you on? Who are you kind of leaning towards at this point? Obviously, as always, we'll continue to track the case. So make sure that you subscribe so that you can watch all the follow-ups that we do. We're here to help you on all things music, business, and entertainment. And we'll see you on the next one. Who was it? Winston? Winston reminded me of the gavel. Thanks, Winston. All right, cool. All right. That was a longer one, but that's okay.
I really like it when you bust out the actual court documents. I think it's so interesting, and I think it's something that we do on the show that's different than where other similar news coverage and stuff happens. But I just want to let you know that we were talking about just different things in the music business, and I just want to share this with you.
Projects for your music business? Go to topmusicattorney.com to get downloadable templates such as NDAs, record label agreements, management agreements, featured artist agreements, and so much more. Go to topmusicattorney.com.
That's where all the fun stuff happens.
So sneaky. All right, let's jump into this. You ready?
Oh, what are we doing? We got a show here. We got a show that we're doing here. And we're gonna do a tip here, but make sure that you're dropping your questions. She'll answer all your questions and stuff at the end of the segment. I don't know how much is in there right now, but we will take a look.
I've been in the music business since I was about 4. Classically trained, went on to write my own music, produce my own music, collaborate, independent, signed, independent again, the whole gambit. And there's 9 things that I really wish that I knew when I was starting my career That Orko also has been in the music business for a long time. He's been in rock bands, he's toured, he's played with all the big rock bands, of the world, and done his thing. So he's also going to give his perspective on what we're going to share with you. So if you're excited, smash that like button and let's get going.
Let's go.
Number 1, understanding the music business. I cannot stress this enough. And this is even if you're like later in your career and you're not just starting. Wherever you are, not having an understanding of the music business will screw you up so much because you will get off track and you'll end up spending a lot of time doing stuff that isn't meaningful, doesn't matter, and might even actually hurt your music career. And so understanding the music business as far as like contracts, royalties, where do you register your music to get paid? How do you protect your intellectual property, like your copyrights, like your trademarks?
Yes.
If you most people will know just a little bit, and they never get all the pieces put together until way later in their career. And so this is the biggest thing, and that's why it's number 1 for me. What do you think?
Or they learn it and they never implement it. They know the stuff, but that they don't actually take action. Like the contract thing is the big one. You should be having, if you're in a band, you should be having, the contract of just how it's going to work within your band and with the different members, and the writings and different things like that. When you get that all set up, you need to have just your different collaboration agreements. But another easy one is, when you're playing live shows, you should have contracts with the, promoters and stuff to make sure that you're getting paid. I can't tell you how many times in my past I'd played shows and stuff, and I was supposed to get paid X amount, and then at the end of the night the promoter did not pay up and I did not receive money, or received less than. But I'll tell you, once I started implementing contracts, I got every penny that I there was no fumfering about. Maybe some of the other bands didn't get paid all they got paid, but I got paid all I needed to get paid because I had that contract, and there's no messing around.
And also understanding the music business, right, gives you that confidence that usually is missing. And that's the thing that gets you to be taken advantage of, because people will kind of smell your insecurity.
For sure.
So having an understanding of industry standard when you're negotiating, and some manager is like, I'm going to get 50% of your music or or your earnings or whatever.
Right.
And you're like, well, a manager's percentage is 15 to 20% at most. So no, that's not industry standard, and forget it. So number 1, understand the music business. Number 2, learn to sell. Okay. Oh my gosh. So, my philosophy and the philosophy of this channel is learn to think like a label, which is really what we just talked about. Understanding the music business is how you learn to think like a label, because labels are like, we're in the music business. We know how it works and we know how to make money. Once we know how to make money, then number 2 is we then look at how to sell. And a lot of that usually happens with just audience harvesting.
Sure.
So, when we talk about learning how to sell, it's, first of all, it's usually your music. If you're a producer, if you're a singer, if you're a songwriter, you have to get people to go and actually stream your music, buy your music. But there are other things that you should be selling related to your music and your services.
Yeah.
Like if you are a top line singer, I can hire you and pay you $500 for 2 hours of work to have you come up with some lyrics and sing the top line of my beat, because I'm an EDM producer. I'm a music producer. I'm going to put together sample packs, and then I'm going to put them on third-party websites and have them just making money passively for me. Again, learning how to sell. What do you think?
Right. That is a huge one that we don't know. As as artists coming up, you just think I just need to sell some t-shirts, merch. And so maybe I'll put them on my website. I get paid at shows. I'm really upset and angry that I'm not getting as much as I should be from streaming. That's kind of like the old mentality. We just recently released a video, 35 ways to make money with your music. Make sure that you look on the channel. I'll put a link in the description, which also includes a PDF that goes along with it. But we literally break down 35 ways that you could be making money with your music and with your craft, like starting today. Like, you can implement these things right away. And that's just the thing. It's just we all just kind of feel like we're in this box of, what we can actually be doing to earning money and have a sustainable career. Once I learned that, I got to quit my pool job. And then I've just been making money from music and from what I know how to make money as a content creator and just different things like that. So, check that video out. It's a huge resource. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, and finding resources, especially with like learning the music business side. I mean, that's all what this channel is dedicated to. Subscribe right now and you'll get videos, every single week. But learn the music business, learn how to sell. And then number three, invest in ongoing learning. So it's
Yeah.
not just, getting free content on YouTube channels. That's all great, but actually deep dive and give yourself the opportunity to close the knowledge gap. And that's kind of how I say it to like my clients and my students. I'm like, you have to close the knowledge gap as quickly as possible because I didn't.
Right.
I spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on my music career, doing all the wrong things for so long. And had I just known the information that would have made me money, I wouldn't have wasted time and I wouldn't have wasted money and I would have started to just do the right things. Because if you're like a hustler and you have the movement and you have, I don't know, the energy towards your career, it also doesn't count if you're doing all the wrong things.
And your time is more valuable than money, because think about like if you took the time to learn the things you want to do, you will save money in having to hire people, and you still don't know how to do the thing. So when they quit their job, when they find something else, and then you no longer have a social media manager, or you no longer have a booker or just something like that, you know how to do the jobs that they can all do, and you don't need them. So you train, and you just get your time back, and you're creating, and you're making the art, and you're thinking of new marketing strategies and new ways that you can earn income. So yeah, no,
Well, and
absolutely.
it also kind of goes into like learning how to sell stuff. So in your investing in ongoing learning, that includes your craft. If you're a producer, if you're a singer, if you are a cellist, anything that you do as your actual skill set, you can sell that skill set. You can sell
Sure.
the work product. So investing in your ongoing education, you have to
Online
set aside
courses are
money to
great.
do it. 100%.
Like,
Number four.
I'm just gonna say, just no, just for personal experience, just me I've taken online courses, that I've invested in, that have been quite expensive, but I felt that what I learned from them, has absolutely gotten my money back from them. And I just feel that we should always be trying to educate ourselves and not being afraid of taking those leaps into those things, because, you grow substantially when you get concentrated information and you apply it.
Number four, of the things I wish I knew when starting my career was that I needed to create insane consistency. And I use that word
Mm,
insane because that's really the level that I operated at when I started doing this for real for like a couple of years in a row, because I went from no following and then I tried to post and I tried to do social media and I tried to do marketing, but it was very inconsistent. And of course, that resulted in no followers, no
yeah.
engagement, and it just sucked. And then when I got super consistent, even for the time that I still wasn't getting the engagement, my consistency caught up. And so after, let's say like a year and a half, 2 years of just super, super being consistent, all of a sudden I had some videos go viral. Okay. And then my social media just ballooned. And then, now I have like 500,000 followers on my different platforms. And so that consistency with everything that you do, from your social media to making your music, as long as you continue to show up, that's all you have to do. You don't have to judge what you're doing. You have to be like, my last post sucked. My last song sucked. Your job is to get your ass with a schedule
Yeah, for sure.
into the studio, go to the gym to work on your physical health and your energy, make money, figure out ways to bring in ancillary income.
Yeah, consistency is everything. And we have student groups that we, talk to, and we had one today. And somebody who had a question about, just marketing and putting money into ads and stuff like that. And, without consistency across your social media, of trying things, of finding your audience, of constantly having them engage, when it goes to time of when you're trying to find your audience, when you're going to market to and direct ads to, you need to have a baseline of what of having a following of people that are engaged with your different content, so you can know which audiences to send them out to, so you're not just wasting money on ads and stuff. So for no other reasons than just helping getting your analytics up, and making sure you need to always be consistently posting, always be keeping track of these things, finding the things that are working for you. But keeping up the energy is huge, and that is something that you can. It's this is not a race. Like, you're not just trying to hurry up and I just gotta do well on this one release. Who cares about your next release? I mean, it's about your long-term career. It's about having a series of great releases, and that comes with your consistency.
Number five on things I wish I knew when starting my music career was not just about consistency, but adaptability. So I say that you need to fail fast And one of the problems that we run into as creators is that we'll try something, it fails, and then we don't do anything again.
Yeah.
Right. So we try a Facebook ad, it doesn't do well. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm out $100, I'm out $20. And so we never do Facebook ads again because we think it's a waste of money. So when you adapt to something, learn. If something didn't do well, there was a lesson to be learned. It's not about your feelings, right? If you get out of your feelings, again, we go back to you think like a record label by getting out of your own way. So fail fast and get really good at it. And, you know, for me, by not judging something so harshly and just it was. Something just happened. Okay, we get data from that.
Right.
We get feedback from that. So for example,
Absolutely.
if the song flopped, the marketplace that you released that song to didn't receive the song very well. It doesn't mean the song sucked. It just means that it wasn't received very well. That's okay.
Or it wasn't even that it wasn't received well. You didn't have the right analytics that you were using, and you just kind of generically tried to promote it. You didn't use the right tactics. You didn't try new things. But failing fast, I love that. That's huge. And that's something that I was so scared to do before. I was scared of any kind of failures. And now it still kind of will bum you out when you have them, but it's such a great opportunity to learn from and just do better on the next one. And every time that we have failed, we have come back with, a better idea and a more, a more working system in place. And that was something that I definitely took a look at the end of 2023 of what worked, what did not work, what was successful, what failed in 2023. And I've already made a huge amount of adjustments that have already seen the results in just the last 30 days. Just taking that data. So fail fast. Absolutely.
The sixth thing that I wish I knew when I was starting my music career was the importance of networking. But let me clarify, of being able to give something of value to someone else. It's not like, oh, I need you to go to some networking event and make friends. That's cool if you're doing that. There's stuff going on in your area. I love it. But what I'm talking about is meeting someone who might be able to help you at some point, or they're a music producer, or they're a singer, or they're a record label executive. And instead of being like, hey, let's be friends, I'll take your time and take you to coffee or something like that. Being like, hey, I'm a video editor. I would love to help you out with some stuff. No charge. Let me just do 1 or 2 things for you. We'll see if it's a good fit. So you give someone something of value to make friends, or you just let them know kind of about what you're doing and make suggestions to improve their stuff. And all of a sudden you have a reciprocal relationship where they're excited to hear from you because you know what? You just gave them something.
Yeah.
You didn't ask, because everyone asks and it's a big turnoff. Okay. So network, but we're networking in a whole different way.
Absolutely. And that's honestly how I've made a lot of my, good friends and connections and, networking over the last couple of years, was just giving value first. And, I'll add one thing to what you were saying as far as, tell them, hey, I would like to do this for you. So in my instance, I would just do it. I would just do something for them and send it to them, and then, explain it to them, not so much
Right.
even asking them, because they're like, oh no, it's too much conversation. Already take the initiative, show them that you're serious. Don't make it look like a sales pitch. Like, oh, I can help you out with this. Like, bro, do you know how many messages I get if I can help you out with this? And it's just some, marketing thing. So, but if somebody goes, hey, I made this short video from some of your stuff, I thought it'd be really cool. It'd be a cool piece of content. I'm not trying to charge you for it, but I would like to work with you in the future. I think you're super cool. Whatever, something like that is really good. And I've made a lot of good friends just by giving, rather than, asking for something superficial. Go stream my song, bro. Like, nobody cares.
The seventh thing that I wish that I knew when I was starting my music career was how to balance my passion with realism. So, when you're so passionate and up in your feelings about your music and your music videos, and I'm so guilty of this, man. I've spent way too much money on stupid stuff. I'm like, oh, we have to do the music video this way because it's my vision and all this stuff. That's where you get very hung up, right, in being an artist. But balancing it with just realism of being like, okay, if I am going to go spend this $7,000 on a music video, which quite frankly is a waste of money if you're spending music video budgets, on stuff. But anyway, the realism of I need to make money. Going back to, I'm thinking like a record label, and I'm finding ways to make money from my career and monetize. So for example, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take time to put together this course teaching this thing that I know how to do. I'm a singer. I can show you how to do all the things that I have spent the last 15 years of my life learning. And then I'm going to package it. I'm going to sell it for $150. And then I'm going to sell 50 units of it. And then, so I'm going to make my $10,000 to pay for the thing. If I'm going to blow the money, that's one thing.
Right.
But to actually just balance the realism of being like, if I put out this music video It's probably not going to break even. It's not going to make me money. And even if people go and stream the song, which they might, we're talking about cents on each stream. So stop thinking like some magical thing is going to happen with platforms that aren't paying you, and come up with ways to really make money, because you can, right? And so I'm challenging you, and in the same way I've challenged myself, and I in fact figured out ways to make money.
For sure. And, and another big, place where you're losing money on, you're talking about music videos, is the fact that you're spending this $7,000 for songs that you haven't even tested, that haven't already gone viral. So like, you're just going, I wrote this song, I think it's really cool, and I'm just going to release it. And, here's my, $5,000, $10,000 music video that I, had shot for it. But you haven't released any snippets. You don't know if the audience even is going to be feeling the song. Now, if you had a song that you were doing little TikTok dances with your phone or shooting content with your phone, and that started just going up and the numbers started going viral on it, well, then yeah, maybe it might be worth it to make a more packaged music video, because you've already tested it. Too much stuff is being wasted. Too much material is being wasted, or money's being wasted on it without it being tested. So you need to be testing your stuff more. But absolutely, I agree with you as far as it needs to make sense. It always needs to make sense financially. Where's the return going? And sometimes we got to blow money, sometimes we do got to, take steps, and there's opportunities that you feel like you can't pass, and you want to have a great experience and stuff. But remember, this is a business, and you need to see some return. So make sure that you have other plans of making money to make up for that $7,000 you just blew on a video that got maybe 400 views on.
You guys are going to love these last two. Before I get to them, make sure that you, of course, subscribe. If you need help with your music career, just go to topmusicattorney.com. You can apply to work with me. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on. I also have contract templates and other things to help keep you legally protected. The 8th thing that I wish I knew when starting my music career was how to take rejection. And again, not just taking rejection, right? And not having it crush my hopes and dreams, because that happens. And the sucky part is that it happens not just from strangers online, but it happens from the people in your actual inner circle. And sometimes it's your creative inner circle. And it's someone being like, your song sucks. I don't think it's very good. And you were so excited about it, and they just crush your dreams.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck? That's extremely difficult. And you obviously need to make decisions on who you keep around, who's kind of like that. And but things will always happen. There will always be rejections and haters. But what you can do to kind of switch this up is to think about, what is the truth in what they're saying? What is a nugget of truth of something that I am not hearing in their criticism? And so I kind of take this even for myself, and it's helped quite a bit when it comes to even kind of, my interpretation of my music. And it doesn't mean I change what I do, but sometimes it's helpful depending on who it's coming from. If it's someone that I respect, and they're giving me some insight to something I didn't hear, something I didn't see, I go, even though that hurts my feelings, right? Even though that kind of hurts my feelings, I'm setting aside my ego for a second. What's true about what they're saying?
And that's something that, is hard to take when any kind of rejection, any kind of where it's feels like it's maybe trolling or maybe anything like that. And you have to consider the source, and you have to consider what type of criticism that you're receiving. Is your criticism on your song sucks, or is your criticism your mix sounds terrible? Those are two very different types of, criticism. They both sound kind of harsh, but one you can maybe go, I don't know, let me listen to my song again. Could that have been mixed more? Did I just do it myself, or did I send it off? Like there will be truths, and the ones that kind of stick with you are the ones that you're kind of like, I kind of already know. But just to piggyback onto that, to add to it, is rejection from your friends and family. You were talking about your inner circle, and that would be something that I really had to learn, was to let go of the feeling or the opinions of my friends and family who may have their own agenda. Like, they're not your audience. Your friends and family aren't your audience. So just taking that aspect out of what I do, as far as just not worrying about their opinions and worrying about my audience that's there for me. If you had a bunch of things going, I don't like your, music. Did you just market to the wrong people? Have you been presenting everything one way and you didn't know how to market to this new group? There's an audience for your genre. They don't know you personally, so it's not necessarily anything personal. So you just got to find your audience.
And the 9th thing that I wish I knew when starting my music career was how to really not only cultivate my identity, but dare to be different. When I first started, I originally did dark pop music, and it's how I just, all by myself, when I was writing and producing and doing my thing, I was writing dark pop music. It's what I liked. And over the course of time of working with different producers and just being a little newer in the game, I kind of started to steer more mainstream pop, and then I tried EDM, and then I got into more R&B stuff for 2 seconds. Like, just trying a lot of different things just because of the influence of the producers I was working with. And there's nothing wrong with
No,
that, but it just
I
meant,
think that's great. I think it's great to help you expand your horizons in what you do and just bring
yeah,
something new into your
and
new
just
stuff.
to kind of experiment, and that's all good. But for me, I knew what I wanted to do. I've always known what I wanted to do,
Mhm.
and I just had to kind of fight back, to be honest, in creative relationships, to be like, no, this is what I want to do, and I deserve to have the career I want to have. I deserve to have the songs I want to have,
Absolutely.
especially when I became my own label and I was the one paying for everything. And so dare to be 100% what you want to be, and even if that means you're different, right? Like, different is like a commodity these days. It's the thing that actually makes people want to listen to you
Yeah.
and want to follow you, but it's scary. It really is scary to embrace that. And I've done that, at least for myself, in every aspect, from being a lawyer to being an artist to doing all the things. That's my story. No one has to be like me. No one should be like me. I'm okay. So, like I was saying, just kind of cultivate your own unique identity.
And it feels great when you're doing things and you're comfortable in your own skin when you're doing it because it feels genuine. And you know we teach you a lot on this channel how to think like a record label, and basically how you're building a record label around what you're doing, or whatever. Like, when you get signed, you're going to have a lot less control and freedom, and then that's when you will be kind of put more into a box, because they're going to take you seriously as a business and try to earn every penny from you. So while you're able to, experiment and find your unique voice, think about who your favorite artists are. Right now, they probably have something incredibly unique about them, and then there's probably 100 copycats that are just trying to do what they're doing, and it's not as good. So, just finding your own lane, staying true to what yourself, and Miss Krystle, you say this all the time about how you want to enjoy the experience. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Of course we want to make money. Of course we want to, but this is your life. This is your reality. The moments that you're in the studio, the moments that you're sitting there in front of your keyboards or whatever it is that you write with. Like, those are the things that you're going to remember and what's really important. So staying true to yourself and doing something that you're proud of and creative with.
And if you are starting your own music career, congratulations on this
Yeah.
journey. If you are still in the middle of your career and onwards, man, don't give up. That's my last word. Don't give up. Keep crushing it. You're just, quite frankly, a lot of you are closer than you think to
Yeah.
breaking through, to having that hit, and you've just been working on your
A
skills and
lot.
getting them better and having better relationships with your fans. So keep hustling. This is your year, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
I love that you said that, because that's absolutely true. We also do outbound scouting for like artists and stuff that maybe we can work with and kind of, help guide and stuff. And a lot of the people that we, when they make it to the level we're actually reaching out to them and stuff, they literally are just a few tweaks away. They have great songs, they have a great look, they have a vision, they have a style, but they're missing just a couple things about marketing. They don't know anything about the business. They just, maybe they just need a marketing schedule to help them, get on track, or just need some of that one-on-one kind of coaching, and then they're good. Or ready to at least take it to the next step. I know for me, I didn't even really learn everything I needed to go until after I already done a lot of cool shit. And then I had nothing really to show for it. And it wasn't literally until I met Miss Krystle that all of that changed. And I went from, being in music forever and doing all the cool shit, but never having anything for it, to all of a sudden I was making, money within, 6 months, within a couple of years, I was done, working my 9 to 5 job, and I was just able to do this full time. So very cool stuff. And I'm just really excited in 2024 for you guys just to think about earning and maximizing everything that you're doing and getting some of your time back for yourself to enjoy your life.
Okay. So I got one more segment for you guys. If you are hanging tight with me, you are rock stars. And this is important. If you have any kind of LLC for you on Instagram, someone had a question about LLCs. I'm actually going to get into this and talk about it. So so much good stuff, so much good content. That Orko, thank you very much. Oh, guys, we're back with season 3. We are here, man. We're going big. Tee. All right, guys, let's loosen up. This is a really important segment. So important that I'm going to be releasing it everywhere. I have my Delgado or Intimate Law YouTube channel. It's going there. Everyone needs to know because it's a huge deal. I'm sure we are. All right. There have been major changes to anti.
I'm gonna interrupt. 'Cause you don't have me on screen. I was going like this. I wasn't ready for you
sorry,
to
what'd you
start
say?
your segment. I just wasn't ready for you to start your segment. I have to take the stuff off the screen. So I had my finger up, but you didn't see it. So
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
just hold on 2 seconds. Let me just take that off the screen.
You got it. Mr. Producer to the rescue. What's up on Instagram? For those of you just checking in, come over to Top Music Attorney on YouTube. We are live and you can join the conversation. For the person who had the question about the LLC, this is a good segment for you. And I'll answer your question afterwards if you come over to the YouTube channel. All right, we good? All right, Mr. Producer says we are good. There have been a lot of major changes to the anti-money laundering. Strike that. There have been major changes to the anti-laundering money. What can I see? I was rocking it, and now.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but real quick, something I missed the entire show. But you have a little Ripley hair on the front of your mic. This gives you a great opportunity to take that off.
Where's it?
Straight up. Just one single. That's been
no one in the chat.
No one helps us out. That's your guys' job. I see. Chris is here every week. Winston is here every week. I'm just looking real quick at the people are here. You guys know what to do. Eric is here. I see Jen in the chat. A Scotty Punk. Any of you could have just said, "Hey, there's a little hair on the microphone." So now,
yeah. So now you know to look for it. Anyway, we're fine. All good. There have been major changes to anti-money laundering laws, and these changes have to do with the Corporate Transparency Act, which applies to pretty much all businesses here in the United States. All right, and we're going to talk about how it works and some really scary stuff about this. I'm concerned. I'm really concerned, and that's why I'm doing this video, to make sure that you at least know all the information, and so you can avoid the bad things, which I'm going to talk about. So we're going to talk about who this is for, how to remain in compliance, and then how to actually go through and do this yourself if you want to file this thing. So basically what happened is that we have this Corporate Transparency Act, and this was, basically passed in January 1 of 2022, but it went into play as of January 1, 2024. All right. So basically what is happening is that you have to file a beneficial owners and a beneficial ownership information report if you are a business owner. What happens is if you do not file this form, every day that you are non-compliant, you could be fined up to $500, and there's a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in jail. Now, I guess the good news here is that they do put a cap on how much that you can be charged for this or sanctioned for this, which is up to $10,000 total. But I mean, we're talking jail time, we're talking $10,000. This is a huge deal. So the way that this works is that if you had a US-based entity already in existence prior to January 1st of 2024, then you have a full calendar year until January 1, 2025 to file this BOI report, which is the beneficial ownership information, which I'll give you the details of what it is like and what goes in it. So you have the full year to do this, which is great. You have a little bit of time. However, for new entities that are registered after January 1 of 2024, you only have 30 days to file this report. And again, if you don't and you fail to timely do this, every day you could be charged up to $500 for the max of $10,000. So where do you file this report, you say? So the BOI report is filed through the U.S. Treasury's. The BOI report is filed through the U.S. Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, which is FinCEN. Okay, so we'll just say FinCEN. that's a tongue tie right there. And the BOI basically is, in place because the government's trying to crack down. U.S. government doesn't want more, illegal activities such as money laundering, money fraud, financing terrorist groups, tax fraud, and any kind of money fraud that you can think of. So what they're doing now is that they are forcing businesses to provide this report as part of their ongoing operations so that hopefully, the government can catch criminals and prevent these types of crimes. All right. So they're like setting up these fake companies and they're shell corporations and they're running money through it. And so, the government is banking on, I guess, pun intended, they're banking on being able to catch these fraudsters. So anyway, it's impacting all of us. And now we need to file this report. And then there's just huge penalties if we don't. So who does this apply to? If you are the owner of a limited liability company, so an LLC, a corporation, which would include an S corporation, and really any business that can be created by filing paperwork with your applicable Secretary of State or other entity, which forms a business. And this also includes foreign entities, right? So if you are a foreign company and you are here in the United States registered, it applies to you as well. Okay, so it's pretty much everyone, but there is an exemption list. And on the exemption list, there are 23 categories, and it's a pretty long list, but let me go through some of the big ones. Okay, so if you fall into some of these, if you fall into any of these categories that I name, then you are not required to file the BOI report, such as banks, credit unions, security reporting issuers, credit unions, depository institutions, holding companies, money service businesses, securities brokers and dealers, securities exchanging and clearing agencies, investment companies or investment advisors, insurance companies, venture capital fund advisors, accounting firms, tax-exempt entities. So this would include 501c3s, entities assisting tax-exempt entities, and inactive entities. So that last one right there. If your company goes inactive at some point, okay, which is actually a designation through usually your Secretary of State, if you go inactive at some point, you're not going to have to file this report. But you also need to be in one of these other categories if you are actually active. Now, there also is an exemption if you happen to be a very large company. So in the United States, and I'll tell you how this is defined, but if you're a very large company, you're going to be heavily, you have to go through all kinds of hoops anyway. And so the government's like, we put enough pressure on you, so you don't have to do this. But anyway, so they qualify a large operational company as having at least 20 full-time employees, $5 million of gross receipts from the previous year, and if you have a physical location in the United States. So this is definitely going to apply to some of my clients. And so that's good news, right? So you already have lots of regulations on you and your business. So this one is not going to apply. But for everyone else, that means that we have to file this BOI report. All right. So then you might ask, well, does this apply if I'm a sole proprietorship or if I'm a partnership or if I have a trust? And the answer is no. Because remember, going back to kind of what I was mentioning, if you have to file paperwork with the state that you reside in to form the legal entity, so the LLC or the corporation, for it to become a legal entity, that's what puts you into kind of this box. So if you're a sole proprietorship, if you're a partnership, if you have a trust, those are not things that you have to file with the state. So those would not be included, right, in who has to actually file this report. All right, so real quick, what goes into the BOI report? It's going to be stuff like your business name, your EIN, your business address. But remember, we were talking about the beneficial owners of the company. All your information has to be in this report, okay? And if you, to qualify as a beneficial owner, you have to have at least 25% ownership, right, in the company or control of the company, or you have to have what we call substantial control of the business. All right, so if you own like 51% of the company and you have all the voting rights, we would say you definitely have control, but obviously the 25% ownership interest is probably the one that I would default to the most. And so, with the beneficial ownership interest and what goes in the BOI report, some people get concerned about anonymity. So we have clients and we have, students as well who have registered their LLCs or registered their corporations in other states. Okay, so this might be in, let's say, Wyoming, Nevada, New Mexico, Delaware, because you can file and keep private that you're the owner of the company. And so, I've been getting emails from clients just being, oh my gosh, is this information going to be public? And the answer is no. It is not going to be public, but there are certain institutions that will be able to access this information. Okay, and these are some of them. So federal agencies that are engaged in national security, law enforcement agencies, if they have a court order, Treasury Department, the financial institutions, but they have to get your consent. But general members of the public will not have access to this information. All right, that was a lot. So let me just recap. All right, so BOI reports, we're going to file them with FinCEN. Okay, and as far as the electronic filing, you just literally go to the FinCEN website, and then you can do it there yourself. Heavily regulated businesses and other categories of businesses will not have to file, but quite frankly, most corporations, most LLCs are going to fall under these definitions, and so you are going to need to file this BOI report. If you don't, it could be up to $500 a day, up to $10,000, and up to 2 years in jail if they're feeling feisty that day. My goodness. And then just to recap on the deadline. So if you started your company January 1 of 2024, afterwards, okay, you have to file your BOI report within 30 days. If you started your entity before the 1st of 2024, January, then you essentially good to go for the year until January 1 of 2025. Okay, this is a lot. If you do need help, please reach out to Delgado Entertainment Law. We can definitely get this filed for you and assist to make sure that your money stays protected. All right. Look at that. Did Ridley break in?
Yeah, she broke in.
All right, guys. That was we saved that for the end because that was, a meteor. But that was important. How's the little girl doing?
She's doing good. I'm trying to get her to look.
There she is. Oh, there
Wanna
she
say hello?
is.
Want to say hello?
Jules asking, can we rewatch the live? You got it. So when we're done here, it is posted, so you can rewatch a little bit later.
Absolutely.
The little girl.
Yeah, they're getting hungry. They're getting hungry for sure. But I just wanted to come back in and let you know about all the cool stuff that we have going on.
All right, what do we got?
Well, first and foremost, if you guys love the show, make sure that you like and subscribe if you're new. New stuff comes out everywhere. But we also have the audio podcast, which you can listen to anywhere that you listen to podcasts. We are there. We're releasing new episodes there every week. Also, I'd like to tell you that we have a weekly newsletter that you can get all of Miss Krystle's top tips and, discounts on, different things and products and services that she offers. You get that through the TMA newsletter, which you can sign up for. All the stuff is in the description. And then, of course, you can apply to work with her by just going to topmusicattorney/apply or topmusicattorney.com, and you will find a button link that will get there, and she can help you out with your career and give you some real good advice and all that kind of good stuff. And where is it? Yes. The free music business jumpstart training. Let's go. The link is in the description as well. This thing is incredible. Even if you've been in the music business for a while, this thing will really show you probably some gaps that you've been missing. It's completely free. Included in it comes a PDF of a split sheet template. So when you're working with other collaborators, producers, songwriters and stuff, she put one together for you to just plug and play. And then also there is a fantastic marketing schedule in there. A lot of you artists and producers out there are having the hardest time with your marketing, with posting on a regular schedule. She kind of makes it just super simple, tells you literally what you just need to post, when your schedule should look like, and gives you options. It's really great. That's also down below, and you can find everything at, where do you think it's at? It's at topmusicattorney.com. That's right. That's where it's all at.
All right, you gonna take us out with the monster music video? Come on, let's go.
Yeah,
this is my last release.
This is it. Monster still continues to do well. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for we're going to be doing some more promotion for it coming up, and then we have some other really exciting music projects and things coming. I'm not going to get too much into that, but I'm real excited for 2024. I'm real excited for this season 3 of the show. We have a lot of really cool things coming, and yeah, I'm just real stoked on it.
Hey, love you guys. I hope you enjoy the music video, and we will see you next week, same time, 5 p.m. Yeah, 5 p.m. PST, right here on Top Music Attorney YouTube.
Darkness falling, all is quiet and soothing, seducing. Feel your heartbeat pounding, hunger starts growing, controlling all of my obsession. Found all this aggression, go on and test it. You got my blessing, burning with precision, deadly premonition, blazing in